take some time, go over the DPC Touch here with you. Really want to dive in a little further than what we normally do in some of our videos. Oh, good, James. You guys keep popping questions up or anything that you see in the chat there. And then anything that comes up, we'll review questions, we'll stop, we'll slow down. Just wanted to kind of get started and talk about the DPC Touch, the articulated arms, you know, different things that we have available, the linear arms. Keep in mind, as we go through, I'm going to be pulling stuff up on the screen. I'm actually going to start presenting here. So as we get started, I am going to present the entire screen over here to my right. There. Just give me a thumbs up, just make sure everyone can see my screen. I'm going to be sharing some stuff here. I really want to, we'll kick it off and we'll start with the actual Flex Machine Tools website, flexmachinetools.com. You can go here, go to this blog page over here, and you'll want to click on that. And then you'll be able to see over on the right side of the screen here, you'll be able to see all of the blog posts that Tiffany and Isaac, all the video, all the content, the write-ups that they do. This will give you an amazing opportunity to really hone in on the things that you want. You know, if you don't see the videos that you want, let us know so we can do something like what we're doing today. So that ability there on the blog page, that's going to give you the most in-depth, just making sure nobody's trying to join in. That ability will give you the most information at your fingertips when we're not available at the moment in your dire need. There's 13 different torque reaction videos. There's 13 different part manipulator videos. Robotics, we have about 9 in that series. And then the ergonomic problem solving series over here on the right side, you got about 20 of them. So total, I mean, you've got plenty of opportunity to see what you need to see there. We're going to kick off a video here, and we're just going to show this here. So there you can see where we put the actual video up there for the first time on the website, on the blog page. We're going to do a write-up shortly after. Haven't been able to get that back to them yet. But so I want to dive in here and just want to talk about the different things that the system has to offer. No audio. Ulysses, do me a favor and check your settings. I had some issues there. I had some issues where it wasn't broadcasting over. Take a look at your personal settings down in the bottom and make sure you have it on there, and then let me know. Okay, sounds good. We'll keep moving. Ulysses, I do have it where it is recorded, so you can always get back in later. But this catalog that I want to pull up, it's very crucial. If you don't have this catalog, please, please, please let us know so that way we can get you copies, we can get you one digitally. We want to make sure that you have all of the capabilities, and keep in mind that on 52 pages here, you have the ability to make everything in this catalog position control. It's just a custom addition from the factory over in France, our partner, our Doga partners. So as we scroll down here, we're going to get to the DPC Touch here, and I really want you to see the opening page, because at the end of the day, this has all of the information you could ever want to give to a customer. You know, and people ask all the time, this piece right here, the DPC Touch, do I need this? And the answer to that question is not always. You don't always need this piece here. The reason being, if you have a PLC system, if you have your own PLC in your facility, they can hook up through an analog signal and find the encoders here at the top and on the arm itself. They just need to go in and find it in an analog signal. If you want to have a standalone workstation, kind of like what we have here on the table, then yes, you do need the DPC Touch. You have the ability to hook up 4 different encoders, so 2 arms or 1 arm with the Z-axis encoder as well. So you have the rotational in and out, and then you'll also have the ability to do the Z, and we'll get into that here as we go through. But again, breaking this down, you can see here on the right, on the screen that I'm sharing with you, you can see the fact that this right here is a linear arm. It has that linear in and out for the encoder, and then these have rotary encoders. So if we keep going down here, you also have angular encoders when you're talking about the DMF arms, the DMS and the DMFI. Those are our carbon fiber arms. And then the slider overhead series, these are phenomenal. If you don't have ground space or a worktop, you'll really want to take a look at these slider overhead position control arms, whether it's a linear arm or an articulated arm, it doesn't matter. These give you so much versatility when you're talking about workstation setup and you have a moving line and you need to span as the line's moving down from left to right. You'll have the ability to have the arm hide up and down, and then also this column is not in your way anymore because you can see over here it has the trolley right there, that precision linear guide rail. If this slides up and down, still giving you all of that accessibility. Here's an example of a good standalone workstation. So kind of like what we have here today. If they wanted to use this and also set up something, you know, just an error-proofing station to make sure that what's going on the assembly line is working, this is going to be a great option for you that you don't have to use the PLC. It can come to the workstation, do every 10 or 20 just to make sure the runoff's going well. So again, as we go through, and again, these IOs. So here where we have the lights, the switches, all of the locks that we have, these lights for the picking, the counting, all of that stuff, it has the ability. There's an IO box here on the back side of this jig that we have available. If you want one, let us know for your demo purposes. But this gives you the ability to truly make your own error-proofing workstation if you need to test it or test something on there. As we continue to go through, you'll notice here all of the descriptions, you know, the 12 inputs, the 12 outputs. It's a 24-volt system. You know, each one of the encoders itself is up to a 5-volt signal. You know, again, 999 programmable jobs, 255 steps per job, 99 positions per step. So each one of these locations here on the screen that you can see, that would be the location. You know, I mean, it's crazy. And again, this one talks about the four encoders per DPC Touch. So again, people ask all the time, what kind of tools can you set it up with? Virtually anything. I typically always pair everything with a DB44. And the reason I do the DB44 here down at the bottom, this line right here, the reason I'm doing that DB44 is it really allows me to give you all of the options, the 12 inputs, the 12 outputs, because we know as there's a lot of distributors here on the call today, you know that things change all the time. You know, they'll pick this thing on the left and then they'll pick this thing on the right, you know, tool-wise, and minimizing your ability. And then if they want to add a light here or, you know, add one of these sensors over here to the right, you know, not giving yourself that capability and then just taping off the rest of the wires that aren't used, that's where we don't want to hinder your ability down the road or whatever. So as we continue to go through each one of them, it breaks down into the arms themselves. So here we're going to get started, and we're actually going to run the job here. So as it's a completely interactive system. Most people that we do have sold these to, their engineers on site are able to take these out of the box without a manual and get these set up and running right away. So they're really user-friendly, very easy to interact with. We'll show that here today. So you can do this where it's timed and it cycles through so you don't have to keep hitting next. But here, you'll talk about the two buttons simultaneously. It'll lock it, just different inputs and outputs. And then here, it gets started. So we'll find that, locate over it, send it down. And it is a feedback system. See, this is where the fastening time was too short. So we're going to go to the next one. So we'll grab that third bolt. I fumbled that bolt, so that's why it did that. And you can see, and there, you have a job complete. Now, what you'll notice is all of these pictures and everything, all the feedback that's in here, you have the ability to see what we have going on. You have the ability to put whatever pictures you want. You'll notice that each one of these pictures is a representation of what we have on the screen. So you have the ability to embed whatever photos, whatever you want to in order to set up your station the way you want to. Joe was saying stop in the middle. If you stop in the middle, it'll error out. So that's why we didn't. Hold on one second. Oh. There we go. See, we're gonna rerun this one. So as you are all well aware, this COVID-19 is really messing with everybody's normal processes. So what we're going to do is we're going to restart the job. Now that you can see what I'm doing instead of my screen, we're going to restart the DPC Touch jig, the demo jig that we have here. So here, let me make sure I can see the comments. So again, we're going to run through this job start to finish. Here, you have the ability to make sure that these go through without having to touch the screen. It's just interacting with the inputs and the outputs. And then as we go, each one of these stages is timed. So that way, you have the ability to make sure that they're done properly. And then there, that one, we're going to reset that, move forward. That gives you a timing feature that we had talked about. We're going to reset that step. Again, like I was talking about, it is all a time station. So that way, so from there, we're going to pick the next screw. You can see the job's complete. So also, you'll notice the pictures on the screen. Here's where I was talking about the pictures on the screen. They match perfectly with what you have here, your part. Being able to embed those photos in it's so crucial to ensuring that you get the right error-proofing portion of it. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to bring this as close as I possibly can. Raise that up a little bit, and then we're going to slide this card in. We're going to go to the home screen. So as you can see here, it has a login feature. You can lock out operators and users so that way they can't just go in and restart, so if they do error out, you want to see that feedback, and that feedback will come through the tool that you have hooked up to it, the job manager and the settings and everything here. So the job manager in here is where you would see your list of programs. I know you can't see quite on the screen, but we'll go in here and we'll edit, and then you'll be able to see what we're talking about. So each one of these steps here is part of that ability to have so many features inside of each one of your fastening jobs. You talk about fastening, logic in, logic out, the delays like we were talking about. You'll also have the ability to put messages in there. So here we're going to talk about, here's an output where the buttons light on, workpiece, different things on that, status light over here and here. One of the things I want you to see, there's the message. You embed that portion into that port, and then you have the ability to come down, and then on the right side it says type. So you have your message, your input, your output, your fastening, so different things that you have the ability to manage right there. And then on this one, as you can see, we're going to move the screen up here as best as we can and really try to focus in on that screen. There. So here you'll see where this will actually, we can change the different locations. So if I wanted to make this screw 1 instead of the black one here in the middle, I could easily just punch in the new coordinates here, right here on the screen. And then the ability to do smart tolerance detection is so crucial. When you hit this smart tolerance here, what you're doing, you follow the head of the bolt. What you're actually doing is you're finding the parameters here in the tolerance in the zone and the okay portion of it. When it's green and yellow and red, that's telling you this is exactly where I need to be, or you can customize that. And then again, your timing here on the right side is it's your timing portion of it, to where you know it'll only take 2 seconds to run the bolt down. So that way the job keeps moving quickly. You also have the ability to do you want to do a retighten or not? The ability to give them that, reworking capabilities, because sometimes you cannot have any rework done. We know that the system's set up. Again, you saw how we did sequential order to where we wanted to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. If you want to take that off, you would do this here. It says non-sequential. You would click off, and then so I would set all 5 of these screws simultaneously. I'd run this one down, I'd run this one, this one, this one, and this one, and it would save the location. And each time you would run a screw down, it adds another fastening step in this job right here. Then down here, say you screwed up and you don't want 5 bolts, you want 4, you would go to the current one. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that 5th one, you would cycle through up here on these arrow keys, and you would hit reset twice. And the reason you hit reset twice is that gives that ability to go ahead and take that bolt right off the programming screen. So here we're going to cancel out of that, so that way in case it doesn't save anything. It's a really nice feature here, so we'll cancel out of the actual programming job, the demo. But you can see where we have all of these different jobs that we have set up. It's wonderful to be able to go through, recall whatever you want, just hit the screen and go ahead and go into that one. So operation mode, so that goes back to the home, so that goes back to the job itself. And then settings, this is where you would dive deep in with if they have an application engineer, or your application engineers would look at these types of things to help your operators and your end users get set up with their automation engineers or whatnot. Here you have the operating, you have the encoders, you have the inputs, the outputs, network. Keep in mind that these do have the ability, when you're using the DPC Touch, these do have the capability of pairing with just about any tool. If you look in the catalog, our partner over in France has a wonderful partnership with Stanley, and what I have here on the arm itself is a Doga tool. We're not saying that you have to go with those, and the reason why those are in there is that is the partnership that they have. But it's extremely easy and efficient to actually get through, and we'll actually open up the manual here here in a few minutes, and we'll take a look at that. The background of that. But here you have the ability to screw count up and down, just different torque settings through binary outputs and inputs. And then there's 4 different managements that you can set. You can set the passwords with or without. The encoders here. This is where channel 1, channel 2, each arm standard has 2 encoders on it. Here's where you'd be able to mess with the tolerances and the position and just the area that it covers per location. The inputs themselves. So here we have workpiece detection, which is right here. We have the job reset, which is over here on this side. Just different inputs on all of the 12 input-output signals that it does have here. And then on the output, we have system ready, and we have an alarm to, when it errors out. Networking, you have, external trigger capabilities, COM 1 and 2. Just, you have the ability to set up your IP address and different things. So it's incredibly detailed. And you can see where on this screen, you can see the lights, how they light up. You can see that each one of these has a signal on that output and input side. So that way you can see which one's active and which one's not. You just have so many different capabilities. And then up here, you're going to notice that these channel 1, channel 2 are the encoders, and you can see the interaction and where exactly the location is, and just make sure everything's operating smoothly. So, honestly, it's more of a what kind of questions do you have? So I'm going to open the floor. Everybody who's on, what kind of questions do you have? Unmute yourself, or just type it in. What things do we have today? So I know some of them, some people have asked, about open protocol. Open protocol is on the docket to be done. It's not completed yet. So it's going to be a whole new product line down the road. So that is something that we ask quite a bit, whether or not we have those capabilities. I am looking for my manual here for the DPC Touch. But please, if anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer anything that you have. I am excited to mention that this year, by the end of the year, our partner from Doga will have the ability to, they're going to have the ability to have on-site representation here in the US. So they're going to be in Chicago. So we have the ability, and they do have one, they have somebody here now, his name's Don Kraft. So it's really cool to be able to see that our partnership is growing. The presence of what they're doing in the country is growing, and it's going to take off here. But just the cost-effective solution that we have available to you guys is so crucial. Let's see here. We are going to get this, and I want to show you an example of what we have over here. Let me get it. Let me put this right here, and then we're going to share this screen. And I want you to see share my window. There we go. Okay. So I want you to see this screen here. This DPC Touch manual will get you out of a lot of binds. It has a great walkthrough. If you take a look here, it has a great walkthrough of what each step that I've talked about. But I really want to get to, not bore you, but I really want to get to the diagram here. Here. These talk about the DB 44, 25, and 9. This is where, when you're hooking up any tool that is outside of the standard cables that are offered in the catalog, this is how you're going to be able to do, your different torque settings, your lights, your fasten, your no-go, all of those things So this is crucial that if you don't have this, please let me know and I will get this sent out to you right away. But, and then it also has in here, it has some different rundowns of job examples. So when you're setting things up, this a nice little operating mode screen. But here is a good, like this kind of just goes through the outputs that it has. Let's see. This job example is crucial. If you don't have the background or don't have one in your facility right now, not knowing it off the top of your head could be a little daunting. But here's just a little example of how to walk through setting up a job, you know, with a message, then a logic in, then another message to talk about what you're going to do, a short delay, so that way, like we were talking about, making sure that they get the part in there or get the screws. But really walking through that, it's kind of an important step to kind of just slow down when you get it or before you get it and really see how easy and simple it is for those of you out there who do error proofing. And just being able to take that and put that onto this screen here is crucial. So being able to take that information and put that in here, it's so crucial to do that. And then just the ability to not have to create something that's outside of the box, so to speak. I know I've talked to a lot of people across the country personally that have had to, they've had to reverse engineer even a 25 Newton meter arm. You know, and that's crazy to think, because we have these at such a cost-effective solution that to have to reverse engineer because you don't have the product line, it's really tough on people. It's tough on cost. You know, you can't get but one in there, because one of them that I heard was, I think it was over close to $10,000 just for an encoded arm that was custom made, when it was nothing more than literally what you see that I have in my hands here today. It was a 25 Newton meter, you know, torque reaction arm, articulated encoders there. I mean, it's incredible what people have had to buy, make, and do, not realizing that, you know, our DPC catalog has 52 pages. And if you really need it, anything in that catalog is actually, you know, position control available. Even the larger arms, you know, the 500 Newton meter, the 250 Newton meter. I mean, those are crazy to be able to say that you have that ability. But, you know, as much as I love ergonomics and everything, I really can see that, you know, I can talk about it, you know, on and on, but really getting one of these in your hands for the distribution partners that we have here on today with us, or, you know, just really doing a call in and doing a, you know, a personal, you know, one-on-one training of, hey, Jeff, walk me through that, you know, that job, walk me through, you know, we can do it on a cell phone where I can actually take the camera. So I can take my camera phone and I can really zoom up on there and really get in depth and detailed on that stuff. So the ideal, thank you, Eddie. The ideal customer that we're going after are your general assembly, you know, automotive, really anybody who is worried about their part. Like this phone's a great example of what we have that would be, you potentially want to error proof. There's so many screws that have to be in here to hold the control board in there, the motherboard, the battery, the screen in. So knowing that operators who are building 100 of these a day, chances are they're going to miss a screw. It's just human nature. It's inevitable. Or they're gonna miscalculate the angle that if they have a tool in their hand and it's just hung right here on a cable balancer, and they're just running screws up and down all day long. Well, that's going to be your perfect customer. Any assembly application where the operator they're wanting to control their quality control, just the accuracy of what they're doing. That's going to be, you know, it's a general answer, but in reality, it is the right answer, because there is no set customer. It's anybody who's doing any type of fastening. And you can mention Ethernet being available currently. Yeah, so again, James, here, you go into the settings here, and you'll want to go into your network, and you'll want to go ahead and on page 2 of the network settings, you'll be able to see where you can start setting up your IP, your subnet mask, your default gateway, your port, and then on through that, you have the ability to put a barcode scanner in there if you want to. You have the ability to hook up and pair up scanners so that way you can have different jobs. You can see there program 1 all the way through 10, reserve. You could do a reset on here if they needed to, but you have the ability to really break that down through the inputs and the outputs. But again, in that network, in the controller settings, network 2 and 3 gives you that ability. So again, if there's any other questions, please choose, chime in, let me know. Other than that, going through the catalog, in reality, it's very, very simple. We have your slider overhead. Let me show you that one again. I really want you to see these next ones. I'm going to prep it first, and then we'll get into, we're going to go back to my window here. Perfect. So when you take a look at these here, the DMF arms, the angular encoders, these are wonderful for, your automotive customers or your heavy implement, equipment companies that you're doing where they don't have any work tables really, or they just have moving lines overhead with unistrut or 80/20 rails above their heads. This gives you that ability to really hone in and pick what you want. And it's a little bit different of a system. It's an angular left and right, up and down for the length encoder. And then you have the ability to do angle on both to give the pitch in and out. You also have the ability to do a length and angle, so that way you can do right to left and then up and down to know the distance that you're at. Again, if you need to do that, both angular encoders, it's an option. It's not something that is a standard offering. But again, each one of these pages, you will know and you will love the fact that it comes with either it's a mount interface, a tool mount interface, and when you're ordering things above that 80 Newton meters, 140 Newton meters, it is extremely crucial that you give the tool information back, because we have to make sure that we build the reaction plates to your, this interface to your reaction plates. I'm sorry, I messed that up. So make sure that when you're selling the things that are above a standard offering, like here it says standard or this mounting plate, it is crucial that you automatically send your tool information, so that way we can get that to our, to our team over in France, get those built correctly, quickly, and get them sent over. Again, you can put it on a rail system, but if you're torque reacting, you also have to make sure that you keep in mind that you're going to want to put pneumatic lockers or an electronic lock on this rail system. And again, that's accessories in the DMF section in the previous pages. But these are some incredible arms, and I've used these in so many cases where they have moving lines, they have no work table other than a tiny fixture for their part itself. They can't have anything on the floor in the way as a trip hazard. These arms are going to get you out of a custom arm. And what I mean by that is I've seen multiple arms that we've replaced where they've tried to make this style arm, and it's over-engineered, it's bulky, it doesn't move properly. These rotations here and here, they become awkward because they're not set properly. Then this precision rail helps you maintain that up and down. And again, it still gives you that perpendicularity because you're mounting to a solid fixture up here, and it has a very precision linear rail up that moves it up and down with a cable balancer attached to it. So these are phenomenal when you don't have a table or ability to put a pedestal or something down. These are going to get you out of a lot you know, a lot of different things. And a couple of the members from the Air Power team, the specialists, have asked about these special arms. If you're getting into this back of this catalog, this is really important that you call in, you ask, you fill out those data sheets that we send out in order to get this stuff. But, you know, I kind of wanted to keep it short and simple here. You know, before I close out, there's so much in this catalog to go over, but, you know, I would like to get, you know, individual questions. You know, you've got my email. If you don't, it's jdauterman, DAUTERMAN @flexmachinetools.com. Please send questions, send different things that you want to learn about. And just so that you know, if I don't have the answer, because we don't integrate tools here, we don't sell tools, my limitation, just so that you know right off the rip, my limitation is hooking tools up to the, you know, to the controller. But I do have a phenomenal technical resource available to me almost majority of the day from Doga. They always answer my questions, and I have the ability to get what you need. So if there's no question, you know, I just wanted to say thank you for your time. Appreciate you stomaching through my first live, you know, overview, you could say. We'll probably be doing quite a few of these throughout the next couple of weeks, just to offer a different thing, you know, different, you know, way of, just a different way of interacting with you guys, because not everyone can have these put up there. So no problem, Kevin. Thank you, Ulysses. If nobody has any questions, you guys have a great day. Be safe and be healthy, and thanks for tuning in. See you guys. Yeah, Kevin, I will send the recording. Absolutely.